Hi. So I've seen more people talking about the suffering and how souls need to come to Earth and experience this kind of suffering, like forgetting your past, being trapped in this human body, being limited, experience like different kind of pains while you're here, and this is supposed to help the soul evolve and become better. Earth's cool. Okay, and I'm all over the place on this subject, but when it comes to Earth's cool or Earth prison planet, when I want to talk about the multiverse, it doesn't mean that when I'm out and I have billions of years for experience, for example, and every each person on Earth, every soul has lived for billions and billions of years. So one experience here, like it's not gonna harm you. It's just you're just gonna come here to learn. And yet a lot of people come here, forget their past, and they get involved into this life. They start getting involved into like, oh, I need to go to school, I need to go to work, I need to make money, and I need to cover my loans. And it's all about, just like living in the material world, and we forget the spiritual side of us. And all of a sudden we're involved in this super game where we need to learn. Learn what? What are you learning from this place? So some people think that when you're in the multiverse, you have like billions of years of peace, but it's not necessarily that. We as souls, we have all kinds of experiences. We have the good and the bad out there in the multiverse. Just because I say that there is no pain when you get out, doesn't mean you will never experience that. It means that I go to higher realms sometimes where I engage in fights or different things, and I will not experience pain if I get shot or I smash myself into the mountain or something happens. But yet, there are times when you can travel the multiverse, and I myself had quite a few lives where I was messed with a lot. I lost like my awareness of the station, or maybe like I was sort of focused on one point and I wasn't seeing what's happening behind me. And at the same time, I was captured, I was messed with, I was tortured. And even in the multiverse, even in all those billions of years, it doesn't mean it's all peaceful and I'm like, I can do it all, I'm free, I'm the most best being in the multiverse. No, each one of us can get messed with in lots of ways. We can live in like lots of worlds, have a life, and you see like your loved ones die. It doesn't mean like, oh yeah, he died. We're gonna meet sometime later. Bye. No, you get attached to being over there. You care about them. You care about the soul. You have a connection, and when they pass away, you feel pain. And their experiences were okay. Let's say futuristic world. You have a family, and now your wife or husband will go into this sort of military mission, but not in wars or anything. Not on that planet, but they're being called like by the sort of Galactic Federation, not of light, but just Galactic Federation of like space and like peace or whatever, blah blah blah. There are like tons of those. And okay, they get into the spaceship, they fly, and the spaceship gets destroyed, and now you're like, okay, you spent for quite a few years waiting for that like lover to come back, but it's not there, and you're feeling hurt, and now you go on a mission to find out information for yourself because like no one is giving you an info of what happened or where the person's gonna come back, and you go out to look for that person, and what happens? You get trapped, you get tortured, you get into sort of space and time prison where they can torture you like in any way they want. And that's one of the possibilities. You can have your astral body like kidnapped and be tortured with and have implants and stuff. It doesn't mean that in the multiverse you will never experience pain. It can happen. And even then, we as souls, we choose how harsh we want it. If you play a video game, you can choose if you're gonna go on very easy, normal, hard, very hard, hardcore, blah blah blah. All those like places. Okay, like I want the challenge up for myself. I want to be better. I want to grow. I want to be stronger. I want to show off my skills and stuff like that. So you want to test your abilities. The next thing you know, you're playing on a harsh level, and then you die, and you keep on trying again and again and again until you succeed. And it's very similar when we're out in the multiverse. You can get on any planet, you can get in any realm, and okay, very easy. It means no pain and stuff, and you just like you have all the abilities, but you're like, okay, this is too easy. I want to make it harder, and then I'm gonna take away my abilities. I'm gonna maybe increase the pain and stuff, and now all of a sudden I feel more. But you can choose it for yourself at any time. It's like you have the settings right here, like you can access it at any time. And when you are in any kind of planet or realm, you can always choose if you want it harder and harsher and just like try out your skills, or if you're playing on an easy level where you can do it all and entities cannot harm you and all the stuff. You're the creator, you can choose any of it. So when we come here on Earth, Earth's cool, And all of a sudden, yeah, cool, we're gonna come here and learn and maybe try to help other beings, and we have all these lots of purposes and like reasons for being here. And some people don't have a reason to be here. They don't have a purpose. Just because they didn't came here on their own will. Some beings got trapped here and they like souls can get frozen. Like there are reptilians who have their technology who can literally use their guns to freeze the souls, smash it all into one. Imagine one being here, another being here, and they can like freeze these beings, like maybe in a stasis, maybe just ice like frozen and stuff. And they can like just smash up like okay, just a pile of humans like over there, or like not necessarily humans, just a consciousness. And they can pile it up like okay, 1,000, a billion, million, and next thing they can do, they can merge all into one. Millions and billions of beings, millions and billions of points of view of the consciousness, different ones, all mashed and merged into one. Cool, strong being. But next thing they do, after merging and being frozen, they destroy it, smack it up, and the whole thing that was once, separately, once together, smashed again. What happens is some beings have memories of another being. You have skills and personality of another being, but it's not you. And all of a sudden you become the sort of weird creature who was messed with in DNA and genetics and in lots of ways. And all of a sudden oh, why am I so weak? What happens? It happens to a lot of beings out there in the multiverse. And when they get us here on Earth, it doesn't mean that everyone comes here on their own free will. A lot of beings also are attacked, and they can have the sort of experience where they literally gather up a bunch of consciousness, merge it into one, explode it, and then trap it all on Earth. And you come here like, oh yeah, so what's your reason for being here? I don't know why I'm here. I hate this place. Some people come here and they're trapped. Some people come here like, oh yeah, I'm gonna help out others. And you forget everything. Why do you came here? What's the reason? What are you gonna do? You don't have any skills and stuff like that. So some people say that okay, we need that kind of suffering, we need that kind of experience, because suffering is the only and the best way to learn the most. Well, mister, okay, so we have cleaner for the house, and you're gonna pour that cleaner. It's really toxic, maybe acidic, and it's only to clean really harsh, like rust or something like that. And it's said clearly, do not eat or consume or touch or smell or put it on your eyes or anything. Do not do that because you're gonna fucking die. So you read that and you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna die if I do this. So you're very careful, you put on your gloves, you put on the mask, and you're like, and you clean it up, and cool, fine. So if you read and you understood that you can okay, here's the instructions, this is what's gonna happen when I read, I'm not gonna do this. If you read that and you had enough experience to understand that if you're gonna use it in any way which is against the instructions, something's bad gonna happen to you, why are you not oh, I need suffering to understand better? Really? Why don't beings okay, yeah, you need suffering. So why don't we start drinking chemicals and using all those toxic things? If reading is enough to understand, then why do we need to come here on Earth and experience all that suffering to understand the same thing that you would have read? Okay, here it is. You're about to incarnate on Earth, but look at this note. Earth is a quarantine zone. You're gonna forget all your memories of the past. You're gonna be limited. You're gonna lose all of your abilities. You're gonna get messed in lots of ways. You're gonna suffer for this many years. You're gonna have a few diseases. You will not be able to leave your body. Blah blah. 15 pages of this sort of harsh stuff, and you're okay, so this is what's gonna happen if I go on Earth. Maybe not. I don't want to go there. I understand what's gonna happen, and next page this is what you can learn if you suffer. And if you suffer, suffering is good, and you're gonna grow better, and you will get more experience. Okay, but I can still read about Earth, and what most people learned from here when they were on Earth. So you can read out about other people's experience, about what happened to them, and you can read through their life. Is that not enough for us to not incarnate in here? I don't know, it seems like a lot of people keep pushing the idea that you need to suffer, that you need that pain. But what if we can grow just by reading? Okay, if you drink this chemical, you're gonna die. If you incarnate on Earth, you're gonna lose all of your abilities, you won't be able to get out of your body, blah blah blah, tons of things. Is that not enough for you to not come here? Do you need to experience it for yourself? So why don't you drink this chemical? Because they say it's you need to see it for yourself. Maybe they're lying. You need to understand that for yourself. I'm not encouraging people to actually like, okay, yeah, the label's lying, like go drink the poison and stuff, but it's the same kind of thinking. It's the same kind of thinking, and I believe that this is all just to lie to us, to like bring us here, and this whole suffering is basically the idea of those who want to trap beings like us here on Earth and keep us coming back, keep us reincarnating here again and again until we lose all of our abilities. There are times when souls suffer so much that they start degrading spiritually. When we're like learning and stuff, we're growing. You read a book, you read like, about the experience, you go to a body or do something, and the more you learn, the more spiritually you grow. But on the other hand, you can come here on Earth, have a very harsh life, keep being messed with, keep suffering, and what happens? You go spiritually down. Now just like one lifetime, like seems like nothing happened. Okay, reincarnate again, and again, and again, and again. For thousands of years, maybe for a few millions, and here you are. From a biggest consciousness who was able to create, destroy, and do anything at once, you became an entity who has no free will. And now some entity like some gray can come here over here and order you around and tell you, okay, attach to that human and mess with others. All of a sudden, you wear that consciousness, the biggest being who can do everything. And you suffered for so long, thinking like you need to suffer to grow and get bigger, and yet you suffered for so long that you became an entity. No, you don't need that. But it happens. It happens, and I think it's for the reason like the more we suffer, the more luge they get. This is the thing. The more we suffer, the more luge they get. So what's the point? Are we coming here for evolution, to become better, to learn? Or are we coming here to feed those who are pushing the idea that you do need to suffer to feed us, but you're gonna learn, you're gonna get better? Who told you that? I'm not saying that I'm right, I know it all. These are just my thoughts. But at the same time, I don't think it's logical. If we read about like, okay, reptilians and these other like beings out there, they need luge to grow better, to live longer, to have their technology upgraded. Like they can literally luge all of your negative energy to look sort of, okay, you're gonna suffer for quite a few years, you're gonna have like, cancer or a few diseases, all of your friends will leave you. Like lots of scenarios that will like ruin your life and make it like miserable. And next thing you know, all of the luge that they've created from you alone will be used to power up this spaceship. There's one person. And the more beings they get on Earth, not just people, animals too. If animals will suffer, like, we have slaughterhouses where they literally kill animals without using any, like, getting them to sleep or, like, just screw away. They suffer. For what reason? Only to feed the dark side, get them powerful, get them stronger, make them live longer, like all the stuff. So, do we really need that suffering? Do we really need to experience the pain, or can we read about it? You can understand enough about the label, like, oh, that thing is toxic, you should not get close to it. It's clear enough. Oh, like, radiation is not good for you, you should not go to Fukushima or Chernobyl because, like, you're gonna, like, really mess up your body. Oh, no, I need suffering to understand the experience? Really? Like, okay. I'm not saying this, like, it's all good, like, go suffer and do all those things, or, like, no. In the multiverse, you can have pain. It doesn't mean that if we live for billions of years, it's always peaceful. No, we get bored of peace, but even in the multiverse, we can have the pain, we can have those experiences where we're being messed with in lots of ways, but we're not trapped. It's not the never-ending experience where we forget everything. We learn with pain, but you can literally, okay, I'm gonna sit here in the multiverse, I'm free. I want to understand what the pain is like. And you can read about it, or you can literally install the pain and like see emotional pain, chemical pain, like, okay, like your body pain. You can have those for yourself if you want to really bad. You don't need to come to Earth to experience the same thing. But yet, it's one of the best ways to feed someone who really needs that kind of energy. So, I was just thinking like how so many people are like pushing the idea that suffering is good. Like no pain, no gain. Like really? And yet, some people like, hey, Aquila, like, I'm never gonna get like, how can people be so dumb and like get trapped and get in stasis? Well, I'm like, well, you're here on Earth. You're messing with other people and like blaming them and like making jokes about them, how they have no power, but you are on Earth. You got messed with too. So don't be making jokes about others while you got in the same case. I can admit, I have the powers in the multiverse, but yet I ended up here on Earth. I messed up. I'm trying to experience like, okay, I'm gonna help here, like help others. Cool. I could have used other ways to help other beings without getting in here and getting messed over with. Could have used that. But no, I wasn't smart enough. So I think it's important to admit, like, okay, maybe they have better ways to mess with us. Maybe they can deceive us. Maybe they do have the power. And just sort of acknowledge that, other side is also thinking, and they're much smarter than we are. Like, okay, humans can go like 265 IQ, cool, you can be like really high IQ, but then you take a reptilian, 900 IQ and a fucking baby. Cool. So they can like think of all these ways to deceive us and mess with us and like trap us here on Earth. It's simple for them. So here it is. I just wanted to make a little rant and please share your thoughts. I don't have to necessarily be right about everything. I just wanted to make this rant about like we don't need suffering in this kind of experience because if you need to experience the pain, you can read about it, you can cause it to yourself in lots of ways, but you don't need to come here on Earth and experience all that suffering really hard and the reincarnation traps and different things to like understand the thing. I don't think so. So, feel free to share your thoughts about this whole subject, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next video.